Alright, everyone. Everything is going pretty well by the looks of things. So let's try switch over to a different scene, shall we, and see how that goes. There's me, as expected, so that worked pretty well. Okay, so now let's try that. Everything all seems to be looking good. Okay, fantastic. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, same thing we've been doing the whole time, really. Going to be working on the alarm part of the digital clock. So I've changed a little bit since the last stream. I've converted it back to a scroll panel instead of the silly little object list stuff, because that was not very good, needless to say. That didn't go very well. But I mean, hopefully this should just work straight off the bat. What is this? What is this music? Okay. I'm gonna need you guys to give me a better playlist than this stupid Ludwig playlist. Okay, that'll do, whatever. So, I'm just going to test this, see where we're at. This is not good music either. Whatever, that'll do. I don't know what's happened to my IntelliJ. I updated some plugins and the font has just gone wild. What's happening here? Oh, right. Okay, for now, I'll just give it a list. Or, ideally, I guess a new array list. I'll just do this dot left pos plus 5 and this dot top pos plus 25. We'll try that. I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit because this is kind of crazy. I'm not sure. I had a ton of plugins that needed to be updated, so I don't know which one it was that broke it. I assume it's the Atom one dark one, since that's the one that changes the themes. But we'll see. Okay, so let's go alarm. Okay, it's there. So let's figure out why that's happening. I think I know why that's happening. Yeah, because I'm passing width, height. Oh no, that's correct. Top left. Wait, I'm lost. I'm lost. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. This. Okay. Yeah, so the top and left are switched. So if I do that. Yeah, that's better. I'm going to go plus What do you think? Plus... If we go plus 8 on the Y, and then go maybe plus 15 on that. If I just do image width negative 15 for the width, and image height negative 8, negative, well, the buttons are 20 high, so 28, but then you want to give it a buffer, so maybe 40. Let's just see what that's like. Okay, I got the width wrong, apparently. Oh, because it's gotta be negative 30. Silly me. Okay, that's reasonable, I think. I'd like to move it down a little bit, though, to be fair. So, I'll go... Oh, no, that's the left pause. This one. Go 14, and then I can just draw a title there. Oh, 48. That didn't really work, did it? Let's try again. Oh. Oh, I'm adjusting... Wait, what's happening? Oh, I keep adjusting the goddamn left pause, that's why. I need to stop doing that. I want to put this to 20. And then put this to 54. Yeah. That should be good. And then hopefully this is the height of 5/16s, but I'll have to see. Let's clean this up a little bit. So. Trying to get in a habit of making sure that my code always fits between the left and this line here, because I've always been very bad at doing that, so I want to try and get into a habit of making sure I always do that. But it's hard. Okay, so I'm just going to move these buttons to below. So, where's 72 at? 72 is there. So we want something like... It might be easier if I do this dot top pause plus this dot image height negative 20 or so. Not 20, okay, 25 then. Hmm, 28. There we go. Move those left a little bit, so we'll go 17. Oh, I suppose we'll go 16. We'll keep a round number when possible. Okay, if I go 15 actually, then that might be exactly on the mark with that. Yeah, it does seem to be. Now, I'm not going to be able to fit 4 in here though, so I might have to adjust the width to maybe 45. Yep, that looks fine. And then I'll just adjust the left pos on them. So width of these is 45, so we go to 60, but we want a space of at least 5, so maybe 65. Okay, and then if I do basically the same thing, but plus this dot image width negative 30. Oh, it doesn't like that, does it? Oh, right, it needs to be 15, 45, 60. Now, is that edit button centered between the add and remove button? I would say so. It's hard to tell, but I would say it's pretty much centered. So, okay, let's just draw the title at the top as well. Speaking of GUIs, by the way, I recorded the screen tutorial today. So that should hopefully be coming out tomorrow. And it's not container screens, it's just like normal screens. So like this type of screen. Which, yeah, hopefully should be out tomorrow. Does that look okay, or does that look kind of weird? I could center it. Let's try see what it looks like when it's centered. And then I'll figure out whether I want to do that. Oh. No boolean. Okay. So if I just do left pos plus this dot image width divided by 2, that does center it, but that gives it a shadow. Is there a way to draw a centered string without a shadow? No. That's cringe. Okay. Let's do string width is equal title get visual order. And what was it? Font dot width of that divided by 2. So I'm working on the alarm for the digital clock. Well, that's not right, is it? So that uses left pos negative. Right, I see. So it needs to be, I keep going back to that one, let's get rid of that one. It needs to be left pos plus this dot image width divided by 2, then negative width, and then give it a false. Oh wait, because I'm still drawing a centered string. Oops. There you go. Does that look better centered? I would say so. I would personally say that looks better. Okay, let's try and get some entries in here and see what that looks like with some entries in there. So I just have a simple list here, so I'll just create that list up here. So list of alarms equal a new array list. Put it in there, and then I'll just add some, yeah, basic alarms like that. I think that needs a name. And then it also needs a time, which doesn't really matter as of current. There you go. So that's 5 alarms. Maybe make them a little bit bigger instead of just a height of 16. That's my plan. So if I just find 16, replace with maybe 25. Okay, that's not quite right because that's now adjusted the gap to I need to do 16 there, I think. That's fine, that's fine. 16 again. 16. Was there another 16 up here somewhere that needs to be? Nope. Okay, we'll try that. No, so somewhere there's still a gap of 16 that it's using. Just put these back to 16 and we'll go through all of them manually. So if I do this, say that's 20. So there'll be index times 20. Negative the scroll amount plus 16, so we get that offset. Once again, times 20. Any beginner mod suggestions? Like complete beginner, or like how much experience are you considering beginner? If complete beginner, then I would just suggest you do like, you know, basic stuff, like just items, you know. I wouldn't start off trying to make a full-on mod as a beginner, because that's just not really going to work. Instead, you should just try and do like a kitchen sink mod would be your best bet. Let's look at this. Why is it doing that? Oh, right, it's because of this. So this is doing like y negative 2. So if I adjust that to y negative 4, kind of thing. And plus 12. I would say that's better. There's not going to be a bar width, so let's just remove all those. I've done C# Unity mods, so pretty much complete beginner, but I would like to do something somewhat filling. I mean, I just don't know that you as a beginner, it's hard to do anything complex because it requires, you know, something like this, for example, right, which isn't really that complicated. This is a fairly basic mod, to be fair, right? Just adding a clock, right? You would think that's fairly basic, which it, to an extent, it is, but only once you understand the whole underlying APIs and everything. But to do something somewhat rewarding without understanding a lot of the APIs is very hard. So it is just a matter of, like, you kind of got to do boring stuff until you learn how to do the fun stuff. Which obviously isn't ideal. But I mean, it is what it is. Let's do mouse scrolled. I'm just going to return false for mouse scrolled, because I actually don't want it to scroll. I mean, you could try starting off with something that is similar to something that's already in vanilla. That's probably your best bet for starting as a beginner. Just try and do something that, like, basically already exists, but do it in a slightly different way. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. But I think that's probably the best way to do it, I would say. Oh, we're doing this again. We're doing this thing again where it selects the wrong one. Does anyone remember how I fixed that last time? I think it was to do with get entry position. Yes. So that needs to be 4, that needs to be 2. And that should fix that. Interesting. It not quite. I just want to ask you about what sources, websites, channels, books you would recommend to a modding beginner. Well, okay. There's a difference between... See, this is what's confusing when they say they're a beginner, right? Because a beginner shouldn't mean that you are a beginner to... Sorry, someone's pinging me in Discord. Yeah, it's just rubbish. But a beginner shouldn't mean that you are a beginner to Java when it comes to modding. That's the difference, because modding is obviously Java, as you can tell. So I would never recommend anyone coming to modding not knowing Java. So that's always what I would say to everyone as a first step to get your knowledge on Java, you know, good. to at least a beginner level, a beginner understanding. You need to be able to understand things like lambdas, and ideally you would understand things like class loading too. Reason being, because you've got stuff like this. And if you don't understand class loading, you will not understand why you have to do this. Right? Because if I didn't have this dist executor with it being in a supplier of a runnable, it would class load Minecraft on, the server side, and boom, it would crash when you run the server. So like, that's why you ideally need to know as much as possible about Java. Also stuff like this, right? These methods here. I mean, this probably looks like absolute gibberish to most people. To be honest, it looks a little bit like gibberish to me too, because I wrote this a very long time ago. But if you've got a basic understanding of Java, from there things change in terms of what you need to do, because at that point it's just a matter of learning Minecraft and learning Forge or Fabric or Quilt or NeoForge. So that's the complex bit, because there's no documentation, there's no books, there's no websites, there's no, there's nothing at that point. So you're kind of on your own there, which is why I do make my tutorials, because obviously that's a good way to learn how you would do something. But yeah, things get complicated. There are some docs. I mean, let's see if I can bring them up. If it's going to load, my internet is not happy with me. So you do have the community wiki for Forge, which covers like kind of everything, but not really everything. So you do have stuff like creating blocks. See if it'll load. And it does tell you how to do it, but you just got to be able to understand what it means, which you wouldn't be able to do if you didn't learn Java. And obviously, I mean, needless to say, really fluency in English, which obviously if English isn't your native language, then you will find it hard. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. But yeah. So this isn't really that good in terms of like how you actually do it. Like you go into here, you'll find registration, but you'll find that it shows you many different ways of registering things, when like you should really only use this. You shouldn't use the other ones. So that's not great either. And you do have more advanced stuff in here as well, like capabilities, which is actually, this is a decent one, because this is there's quite a lot to that. So this one's pretty good. You've got like images and whatever, which is great. But yeah, that's basically all I would say. Apart from that, I mean, look at vanilla code as much as you feel is necessary, and look at other mods code as well. So just hop on GitHub, search for a mod that has something similar to what you want to do, and look at how they do it. What I don't recommend is I don't recommend that you copy it. Just understand it, because A, well, it might be against their license, and B, it's better to just understand things rather than copy them. What's happened to this? But yeah, is that a good answer? Is that what you're looking for? I don't know. Do you do Fiverr commissions? I do Fiverr commissions. I actually meant to have that linked in the description, but I completely forgot. I guess I could do that real quick. Just link it in the description, and just in case anyone is interested. God, I can never navigate Fiverr. It's so weird. There we go. Found it. Oh, whilst I'm looking in the description, actually, we have the suggestion form in there. So if anyone wants to suggest what I do for the next few streams, that is a great place to go. And it would be very useful if people suggested, you know, stuff in there. It helps a lot. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through some of them. Unfortunately, there hasn't been many new responses, but there has been some. We do have now 9 responses. Okay, so let's bring it over. So this is number 6. Someone said add rideable slimes, and then they put my name as the Discord username. Lovely, very helpful. Thank you. It's obviously not helpful, needless to say, but you know. So use the jukebox. Yeah, I think this person maybe misunderstood the description here. So, if you are going to submit something to this, by the way, ideally, it needs to be a big thing. You know, something that's going to take maybe 10 streams is the kind of idea of this. So, yes, this is something I could do in theory, but it's not going to take, you know, even remotely close to that. That would take like 10 minutes. So let's just go to the next one. This one it's not a bad idea per se. It's just very niche. I'm not going to read through it all because I've already read through it all. But it's quite niche, and I don't think it's really... I mean, why would you not just use the end of storage mod, right? Basically. And then final one is to recreate this mod, which I'm not going to do. Needless to say. You know, that's just basically doing the work for someone. So I think currently we are still very much on Lone Wolf's idea here of a camera mod, which is why I'd like to see some more suggestions. Why do I keep getting pinged? Oh, it's Temedy. Of course he's bloody pinging me. Tell him to not do that, please. Everyone that's in the Discord, tell him to not ping me. Thank you. Okay. But yeah, it would be great if people could suggest stuff to that form. Stuff that ideally does take a few streams, not, you know, 10 minutes, would be much appreciated. Also, let's figure this out. So I want it so if you click off of an entry, it deselects. Let's do that. Mouse clicked. Here we go. So I'm just going to say set selected null. Didn't work. Okay, this still isn't quite right, is it? What's going on here? Actually, -4 for the top and +12 for the bottom. And we got y +12 here. Y +12 is greater than this top dot. Oh, that's just continues. Okay. Relative y +4. Does that need to be +6? No, that didn't change anything. I forgot what that 4 is for, to be honest. Okay, what it might be helpful to do, although I can't really do this. Oh, it would be useful to see what these values here are actually corresponding to. Because I'm not sure what this relative y +4 is for. I can actually remove the scroll distance from basically every single equation here as well. And scroll amount, because we're not dealing with scrolling. So let's just do that. There we go. So that should be all of the scroll stuff, or yeah. See what that's like. Okay, that's even worse. So it works for the top 2. It works for the third one as long as I don't click on the bottom, which very much also doesn't work for the second one if I click on the bottom too. Okay. So relative y is just top plus border. What is border? Border is set to border, which is defaulted to 4. Interesting. Is there a border color or no? Oh, is that the border color for the bar, not for the possibly. So where's that border gone? Let's just remove all of the border references then. Just also get rid of relative y. This dot top. This dot top. This dot top. Hello Brammy, welcome to the stream. Top plus this dot height, relative y, so I'm going to skip this relative y, just do this dot top. Yeah, so that's basically ignored, and so I won't even pass it in. Once again, I'll do this dot top, do this dot top. Okay, let's give it that a go. Hopefully everything works well and good. No, Brammy, that is not going to happen. Okay, let's figure this out. Oh, also, do we know if the new subscriber thing is working? Or not? It still isn't working. Which I guess is why I had the border at the top. Okay. Top. I don't think the subscriber thing is working. I mean, it's possible that no one has subscribed since I started the stream. Of course, that is definitely possible. But I would like to assume that's unlikely. Well, that didn't change anything, did it? Oh, it did. No, it didn't. Why is that not offset from the top? So when we draw the entry, the Y is the top plus border plus index times 20. Sub during the stream, yeah. I didn't think it was working. Let's try and see if I can figure out why. I mean, it's definitely set to most recent subscriber. I don't really know how like all these Streamlabs things work, to be honest. So, oh, have I just removed it? Why can't I see it anymore? Oh, I accidentally moved it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't even know who Aletus is. I don't know if that's like a real person, or if that's just like a temporary or like template name. Fill y -4. It needs to be that. Yeah, that does work. So let's go back to this then. Let's say int y. Yeah, that. But we say +4. So then I can just say y there. And it needs to be +20. +20. Then it needs to be y. Yeah, let's see what that does. So click there, click there, click there, click there, click there, click there, there and there. So yeah, that all works. Now, there is one interesting thing I'm noticing. let's just first say equals selected. Let's just first go to mouse clicked. Here we go. So if the alarm is null, then it should just set selected to null. Set selected sets. Oh. Set selected should actually do that. There we go. So then when I click off of it, it actually clicks off of it. And I can click on the right one and click off of it. And yeah, that works. So hopefully I can click, yeah, anywhere. Nice. And scrolling doesn't do anything. That's good. Fantastic. All is well and good. Now let's just see what happens if I, in the screen, which I've lost again, let's just try and put 10 in here and just see what it does. Interesting. So it shouldn't actually be able to do that. So I'll say this.alarms is equal this.alarms dot sublist that. Oh, and I can't do that because it's final. So what I'll have to do is that, and then do this.alarms.add all that. And then that just creates a sublist. Hopefully meaning that that didn't work. Oh, oops. There we go. So now I'll always only show 5 alarms, even if somehow there was more, which is not possible. Okay, I think it's finally time to actually try and make these alarms work. So first of all, I'm going to make it so you can edit an alarm. Well, I suppose you should be able to add an alarm first, then edit, and then we'll do remove. Or we'll do add, remove, edit actually, because that'll be easier. So instead of getting the alarms from that, we're going to just get those from the block entity. So let's do that. Hello? Oh, I have to use this block entity. Silly me. Create the method. And let's create that in here. So private final list of alarm. Nice. Let's return this.alarms. And just for safekeeping, I'll sublist. Zero. This.alarms.size. What? No, it's not. Shut up. Okay, let's do public void add alarm. Alarm adds an alarm, sets it changed, set block updated. That's good. Good job, Copilot. Now what I will do, first of all, actually, let's make sure this.alarms size is greater than 5. We just want to straight up disallow that. then that should mean that it can't actually ever add more than 5, so this doesn't really make sense either. Oh, I see, that should be 5. Oops, silly me. That's why it's complaining. So yeah, that adds an alarm there. Now what I'll need to do on the client is obviously make a packet that can send that to the server, that sends this back to the client. Well, actually, yeah. So that works. Now, does this sync, by the way? Any of this sync? So get update tag, get update packet. Yeah, it does. Okay. Good to know. Let's actually save and load those whilst we're at it. So I'll create a list tag. New list tag. And I believe you can give it a type, can you not? You cannot. Not without 18 that package private constructor, which I'm obviously not going to bother with. So, it doesn't matter. Okay, and I'll just do that. And then that. Now, should I do it this way? Sure. I suppose so, why not? Implements INBT serializable compound tag. Add in those methods. Just do var tag new compound tag. We'll put in the name, put in epoch, enabled, repeat info, sound info, tag, and same thing here. So, oh right, I'm not going to be able to do that with the name. Okay, maybe the name shouldn't be final then. And I should have some kind of way to do that. Should be able to do once again a new repeat info.deserialize MBT. Sound info, my bad. No, this should be private. And then I do want a just normal constructor. Like that. Obviously that's not an ideal way of doing this, but it should work, at least for now. We'll see about changing it later. Also, I don't like this chat box, not gonna lie. Let's try that. Hello. Oh, YouTube's hidden the your name. Hello, Zatak. Welcome to the stream. Let's just do the same in here. So it implements that. Thing is, I don't know how I want to serialize this for now. So I am just going to leave that with a repeat info like that. And I'll figure that out later. once again with the builder, that's not ideal, so I'll figure that out later. For now, I'll just return a new compound tag. And yeah, do nothing on deserialize. I'll just do it. There we go. Deserialize MBT. Oh, I see that. Yeah, that's not ideal, is it? Because it's a good point. I can't really do it like that. So I'll actually have to do repeat info like that, and then do repeat info.deserialize, and then set that to repeat info, which is probably more ideal anyways, because that means I can use the builder afterwards. What's the 1.19 series, but only 4 episodes of 1.20 for now? Have you made, or do you plan on making a tutorial on OBJ files instead of JSON models? Possibly. Only if enough people want it, though, because it's quite complicated. At least if you wanted it for, yeah, I mean, the way Forge adds. One second. The way Forge adds their OBJ loader only works for blocks. It doesn't work for entities or items. So, in order to be able to make it work for those, you'd have to, well, effectively write your own OBJ loader, which, as you can imagine, is quite complicated. So yeah, I mean, if enough people want it, I do have a, let's see if I can find, I do have a form that you can fill out for what you want my tutorials to be. And the ones that people have voted, you know, the most for, are probably going to be the ones I'm more likely to do. I'll put it in chat. Just got to load up chat though. Here we go. So I put that in chat. Check that is the right one, of course. Yeah. So that is in chat, and yeah, I'll do the ones that are, you know, most requested in that form, basically. What's the error in here? Info.build. Oh right, of course. That's fine. Okay, I think everything's good. That should all serialize. That should all serialize now. So that will all save basically. Get update tag. Just call save additional, so that's fine. Let's create the packet now, because I think it'd be just easier if we do that now. So I'll create a new server bound packet. So S. Is that roundabout? I didn't know roundabout was in this playlist. Is roundabout non-copyright? Nope, it's not non-copyright. Why is it in this playlist? Get out of here. As much as I love roundabout, I don't want to get copyright striked, so unfortunately can't play that. Okay, so we want an S add alarm packet. Okay, so we're going to want a private alarm, which would actually be a private final alarm. Let's create the constructor, so a public alarm. Now we're also going to want to pass in a position though, so a private final block pause position. Hello frog, welcome to the stream. So we'll do block pause position, we'll just set that in there as well. Okay, then we're going to want the constructor that takes in a friendly byte buff, so friendly byte buff, and we'll just call this, and we'll say new alarm dot deserialize MBT. That's not really going to work. Damn. Damn. That's definitely the caveat of using IMBT serializable, is that we just can't call deserialize in a static context, which ideally deserialize would always be. So I'm actually just going to implement that myself. So I'll say static. And this is going to return an alarm. Okay, we'll say string name, and we'll just go through. And we'll do that. And we'll do that. And then we'll just do the same in here. So once again, static, sound info. What's the mod about? This is a clock mod. So you can create a clock. Specifically digital clocks currently is the idea. I can actually put these back to final again now. And I don't need that constructor anymore. And actually let's make sure I do the same in here. Oops. So how do you guys think I should handle repeating? How should I actually say what the repeating is like? I don't know if you guys get what I mean. Like, how should I store the repeat info? I could just have a boolean for every day, and then like a boolean for week, a boolean for month, a boolean for year, but that would be a bit weird, and I'm not a fan of that idea. I could have like a list of enums, but that would also be super weird, I think. Hello Mickey1106, welcome to the stream. I'm just trying to think if there's a better way, maybe a more complex data structure that would fit better. What am I using this none for, by the way? Am I using it outside of this file? I am, okay, I see. Makes sense. Currently, actually, a list of enum is my favorite option. I have to read MBT. Might be null. It's not null. Be quiet. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out later. Handle supplier of context, and if we want the network context, which might be a pain to find because there's a lot of context. Network. What is it? Anyone know what it is? I know it's something.context. Is it just network.context? No. First of all, that's definitely not that. Okay, no. Is it network instance? No, it's not network anything, is it? It's... Is it actually something .network context? No. For some reason I feel like it has network in it, but maybe I'm just imagining it. Ah, network events.context. I see. It's a bit of a weird thing, isn't it? But what can you say? Hello Firestorm, welcome to the stream. Context.center is equal null, or context.center.level is equal null. Always extracted to false? Is that true? How is the level always null? Surely that's not true. Surely the level could be null. Whatever, I guess it's not really important. Let's actually create a variable. Do we need a variable for the level? Not really. Oh, we'll make one anyways. Imported wrong level. Yep, what a surprise. It's saying that's always true, so I'll trust it, but I'm not confident about it. Oh, what I do need to do is just set the packet handle to true. That's quite important. Nice. What mod am I making? You know, I'm just going to put this... I'm just going to put it in the title, so that I don't have to say this every 2 seconds. Mod development stream clock mod. I'm going to be making a Minecraft mod that adds clocks, specifically working on the digital clock. And then I don't have to say that ever again. It's great. So yeah, if you didn't get the idea, making a clock mod, basically. And right now we're working on making a digital clock, or more specifically the alarm system for the digital clock, so you can set alarms, edit alarms, remove alarms, etc. which isn't going to be easy, but we're getting there. So the idea is on add button. First I'll check if this.selected alarm is equal null. Then I'll just return, because that shouldn't be possible. And I'll say actually this dot add button dot active is false. Oh no, add button dot active is. Oh no. Wait. No. Okay, no, this is actually not right. So on add button, it should actually open like a pop-up GUI where you select the alarm. So that'd be like another GUI. It's these two that will just straight up do logic in them. Well, edit won't actually. Edit will also bring a pop-up GUI as well. So let's do add, and then we'll do remove, because we can only really do remove once you've done add, or can we? Okay, maybe I could. Just trying to think, is there a way to modify this? Thank you, heads. Much appreciated. The clock's going to work like AM, PM, or military time. Currently, it's military time. I hate that term because that's just normal time, but you know. I could probably add a function in here to say AM, PM. Since I do have all this white space and I definitely need to fill it, so I could put like a toggle in here for that. It would be very easy to add, right? It's just -12 basically if it's greater than 12. So okay, what I was thinking of doing is finding a way to modify this packet so that it could be like S modify alarm, and it could work for adding, removing, and editing. But I don't really think I could do that because edit would require us to have 2 alarms in here. So let's just make all 3 of the packets. God damn it. I keep accidentally clicking on the Kotlin class. So S edit alarm packet. So we'll take a private final block pause position. We'll take in a private final int edit index, and we'll take in a private final alarm new alarm. Yeah, that would. No, that's fine actually, because the alarms are already indexed, aren't they? Let's just open the block entity. Yeah, it's a list, so they are already indexed. So yeah, that's fine. Do that, and then we'll do the same constructor but with a friendly pipe buff. What the hell? Stop doing that. Why is it trying to do it like that? It's so weird. No, what am I doing? I'm doing this completely wrong. Friendly black buff. There we go. That's what I want. So, oh, oops. Buff. Yeah, good. Okay, let's do encode, and we'll do handle. So public void handle supplier. Oh, supplier network event.context, and we'll go context supplier. We'll go context is equal that. Yep, enqueue work, yes. That's good, that's good. Okay, we'll first grab the level. Sorry, level. Nope, wrong level. Level. Okay, that's a useless null check, so we won't do that, but we will do this. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. That's great. Let's create this method. So we're only going to do this if edit index is less than 0, or that, yes, then we return, set it to that index, set change, cause a block update. Okay, I'm actually going to do private void update. I'm just going to do that, and I can just call update. That just saves a little bit of effort there, doesn't it? I'm going to do that here as well, and here too. So. 830 worthy props for you with great content on Minecraft Forge modding. Been watching your story since 1. Hey, someone since 1.12. Let's go. It's been a while since someone from 1.12 has actually been around, I think. Oh, don't know what I just did there. Yeah, but thank you for watching for so long. That is great to see. That means I can't be that bad if someone's stuck around for that long. So that's very useful to know. Add alarm, that's all good. That's all good. I'll want that back in a second. Let's do the remove method as well then. Public void remove alarm. We'll go. Should we pass in an index to remove? Yeah, I think that's fine. And then that causes an update. Good. Let's close that. And then we'll create the S delete or S remove alarm packet. Go once again private. Oh my god. Private final block position. Go private int remove index. That should be final. Oopsie doopsie. We'll create the constructor. So public block position int remove index. Oh, what did I mess up there? Oh, forgot to do the packet name, of course. Oops. How did I manage that? Oh my god, now I'm messing it all up. I was on a roll there and now I just completely messed it up. Oh well. No. Stop trying to make stupid bloody methods. Man, Copilot is just too fast. I want to try and out bloody type Copilot, but I just can't do it. It's too fast. Someone needs to make Copilot slower. And then I won't rely on it so much because it is just too fast. Although sometimes it just does get things wrong, so it's like it's a catch-22 if you want to actually use it. Hello. Japanese name? It's not Korean, right? Because there's no circles. I don't know what Chinese looks like, so that might be Chinese. But hello. Anyways. Shall I translate it? What does it say? No, it doesn't wanna... Translate's probably gonna be completely wrong. Fish snacks. Okay. What a name. That's Korean, but there's no circles. Korean needs circles, does it not? Maybe I've been lied to my entire life. Maybe Korean doesn't need circles, actually. I didn't think about that, but... Wait, actually, what did Google say it was? Oh, it is Korean.
물고기 과자.
무구위구라자. I don't know, I probably butchered that. Anyways. Hello, welcome to the stream. I mean, that's how I've always distinguished a Korean on on GeoGuessr. So, it's worked for me in the past. I mean, there's always going to be a point where it doesn't work, of course, but I take my wins when they're available. What is this? Why is it what? Okay, that's absurd, Copilot. You can't just like... Oh, it hasn't literally Okay, that's even worse. Okay, is that correct? Seems to be. Is it gonna know there's an edit? Probably not. There we go. Edit, and can you do the same for remove? Nope. I've been trying to get into modding, then game dev, and watching your videos, saw your stream, obviously. Yeah. That is good. I don't know that modding is a great way to get into game dev, though, if I'm being honest. Unless that's not what you meant, I might have misunderstood. But I wouldn't personally recommend modding if you're trying to get into game dev. Because actually it's very, very different. Yeah. Let's just actually check if desktop block entity is equal null. But yeah, I mean, game dev is like, it's very different. It'll probably give you I don't know. I've never tried it that way around. Actually, I have tried it that way around. But, well, kind of. I've kind of tried it that way around, but I also haven't tried it that way around. The problem with doing it that way around is... It is just very different, right? With modding, you are always fighting against Mojang and like Forge and whatever. But with game dev, I guess with game dev you have to fight against the engine, right? If you choose to use an engine. What am I doing? No, that's not right. So I guess in a way it's similar, but in other ways it's very different. Also, game dev is also actually easier in a lot of ways because obviously you have generally documentation, which we don't have when modding. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury. Which is why I've tried many times to write my own documentation, but it's just too hard. It just changes so often, and you have to document so much. It's just not really feasible, unfortunately. Edit. Let's do the same thing for editing. There you go. If you already have a solid understanding of like programming in general, then you shouldn't really have the problem. It's if you're trying to do it from the beginning, right? If you haven't really had any experience coding except learning a language, then it would be a lot harder to go from modding to game dev, because you're introduced to concepts you wouldn't otherwise be introduced to in very different ways. Because in modding, you're very often taught to like basically do very hacky stuff, whereas in game dev you're more often taught to avoid doing hacky stuff. So you have to be in two completely different mindsets when you're doing the two different things. Whereas if you have coding experience prior, then you would generally, I think, know when to do something hacky and when not to do something hacky. I don't know. I guess you just have to try it out and see how it goes. I mean, can't say for sure. Do that, okay. Let me open this. Okay, just wanted to check that I use push GUI layer. Modding is harder because you have to work with Mojang's crappy code. I don't know. I kind of disagree, because personally, my experience with game dev, and I've tried basically two ways of game dev. I've tried with my own engine, and I've tried using an existing engine, which was Unity. And I found with Unity, I was constantly battling the engine. I was constantly battling Unity, because they have, they do really weird shit, and like it's so abstracted that you just can't modify how you need to want how you want to modify it. But then if you're doing your own engine, you have basically the same, you have an issue there too, because you're constantly abstracting, because otherwise it gets really hard if you're not constantly abstracting. So that can get quite hard too, because you can get very, very deeply nested with your abstractions. So I don't know, it's just something you have to kind of play around with, I suppose. See see which you understand easier and maybe just start with that. Okay, so we want to open an add screen, but only if alarms.size is less than 5. So what I'll do is an OR. Forge it? No, I wouldn't say Forge is a game. Well, Forge is like, I mean, Minecraft is the game engine, right? Minecraft is the actual engine, because Minecraft obviously doesn't use an engine. It just is the engine. I would say that Forge is just the API, which separates it a lot from like game dev, where you don't have that separation. You're basically no, you're not making the API, but you're more so making the API than you are the engine. That's why it's hard to compare them, because they're not very similar. On the surface, they may seem similar, but they're not really. Okay. Add alarm screen. That takes in this. Is that all I want to take in? I think so. As long as this position has a getter, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting situation to try and get into game dev through modding. And I don't know that I've ever seen anyone try to do that, or I've not known anyone try to do that. I guess people might have tried to do it, and I just didn't know that was their intention. I think as long as you do have a good programming, as long as you already know how to code at least a basic level. I mean, you said you came from university, right? Am I imagining that? Yeah, so you should have a pretty good experience with coding already. So I think you'll be fine either way, to be honest. I mean, I can't say for sure, because obviously I've only just started university, so I don't know whether that's necessarily always the case when coming out of university. Oh, yeah. Biomedical engineer. Interesting. What is a biomedical engineer? Is that like wait, engineer though? I mean, I guess that's just developing like or creating machines for biomedicine, right? As it would kind of suggest. Or is it not as simple as that? I don't know, I've honestly ever even heard the term biomedical engineering as like a degree or whatever. Yeah, so I guess it's more of like it's probably more like data analysis, right, rather than full-on programming, is my assumption. Okay, I've got to disable Copilot. It's doing too much, and I don't like it when it does a lot of stuff for me. I like to code myself, so. AI, sheesh. I don't like AI in terms of like learning AI, because there is an AI module at my university I had to take this previous semester. That did not go well. I almost failed that. I only passed by like what, I think 3 marks in the end, or something silly. Okay, what do we want on this screen? So first we want some widgets. So we want a private edit box, which will be the name field. We're going to want a private like date selector or something, which will be the date selector, which will have to be some kind of custom widget. So, oh god, that's going to be a mess, I can already tell. Then we're going to want, just look an alarm. Whether or not it's enabled, which by default will just be true anyway, so I'm not worried about that. Then we want the repeat info, which is going to depend on how I want to do that. But now I think I'm just going to say some kind of like drop down. Sure, drop down. Repeat drop down. And then finally the sound info. So for the sound info, oh god, I keep yawning. It's disgraceful. I guess just a drop down 2. Maybe like a drop down edit box. Sound drop sound. Selection, and this can also be a drop down. No, this can just be just a drop down, which means I have to create both of them. But oh well. Okay. So let's do the name field because that's going to be nice and easy. Is equal add renderable widget. We're gonna say edit box. Now, does this use a builder? No, of course it doesn't. Love the consistency, Mojang. Okay, we're gonna want a font, so this dot font. We're going to want X, Y, width, height, message. Okay. So for the X, we'll just start with this.left pos plus 8, this.top pos plus 20, because we're going to want to render the title at the top, or no we're not. Yeah, sure, we'll render a title at the top. Actually, I think we want like 25 for that. Then we want the width and the height. So for the width, I'm going to do this dot image width negative. Actually, I don't want it to be +8. God, I keep yawning. I don't know why I keep yawning. Why do I keep doing that? I'm going to say +40 because I want there to be a label on the left. And then width plus 40, maybe 45. So 45. 45? Sure. And then this dot image height, so that's the height, right? So we'll just say 20. And then we'll give it a component dot empty for now. Yeah, we'll new line all of these so we can read them a little bit better. What is the most recent mod pack you played? God. Should we have a look? I don't know. I haven't played any mod packs in a long time. Because I basically played all of them. So. Add renderable widget. New date selector. Oh, there we go, CurseForge. I don't think it'll dox me, but you never know. Last mod pack I played was Mechanical Mastery. Just checking it's not gonna. Yeah, Mechanical Mastery, which is like it's kind of like Skyblock, but like tech Skyblock. It wasn't that good, to be honest, like at all. Very disappointing. I mean, that was like 6 months ago, so I don't really play modded Minecraft. I don't play Minecraft full stop, actually. So, yeah. It just kind of gets a bit boring, doesn't it? That's why I mod it, you know? I've spent my time playing Minecraft in my years. And I think it is no longer. +40, +60, we'll go +65. Then we'll go with the X, or the width, I mean, which will just be, once again, this dot image width, -45. And then the height will go 20 again. In fact, the height, probably always just the same. Same with the width, to be honest. That's never going to change, at least by how I intend to do this. I am using IntelliJ. Yeah, IntelliJ. Hello, man meme. Welcome to the stream. I mean, you're recommended. That's kind of crazy, actually. You know what's crazy about that, though? I'm also in my own recommended. Let's see, am I going to dox myself if I show this? No. Lovely. Look, I'm in my own recommended. I don't know why, but I am. Which is nice. Actually curious why they do that. Like, why would they put me in my own recommended? What's the benefit of that? Is there a benefit for me? Maybe if I had other people that used my account, but I don't know. I think it's just there because it's a live stream, right? And they show, like, if there was someone else in your subscriptions that had more, that was live and had more viewers, I assume they would be there in. Oh no, because Linus Tech Tips is live, and Tom Graphic is live, and Luke the Notable is live. I don't know. That's weird then. I don't know. It's obviously not showing up in everyone's recommended because there aren't that many people watching the stream. But it's interesting. Oh, it is repeat drop down. Oops. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, using IntelliJank because it's jank, as you can see, by literally everything. Like, why does it do this? Why does it put that bracket there? It shouldn't put that bracket there. It should put it. It should put it there, right? Or I guess if it's going on a new line. Oh, actually, it's going on a new line. So like there. If it was going another line down, then I would expect it to go there. I suppose there kind of makes sense, but it's jank. Okay, it's jank in other ways. Okay, thank you, Atom plugin. Jesus Christ, get those out of here. No, Eclipse is not jank. Eclipse works absolutely fine. The only valid reason you can hate on Eclipse is because of its like 1990 bloody style. You can't hate on Eclipse for its functionality. That's just not okay. I guess you can also hate on it for its Gradle support. Because its Gradle support is, to be fair, not great. But once again, I consider that completely unrelated. Let's do 65, let's do 85, let's do 90. Just undoing custom path now, feeling accomplished, you died. Oh, that's unfortunate. Can we get an F in the chat for man meme dying? We need the F's in the chat, please. But yeah, PathNav, that is I think I tried pathfinding once and I never did it again. But that probably doesn't tell you much because I give up on things very quickly. Let's do the width anyways. So this dot image width -45. And this dot height this will just be 20. This dot sound selection is equal as renderable widgets. Doesn't Mojang have a pathfinding debugger? Debug path. Yeah. This. Is this it? No. I'm sure there's a rendering thing. It like actually renders something, doesn't it? I don't know, maybe I'm imagining that, or maybe I saw it from some guy's mod, but I'm pretty sure that is a thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends what you're doing specifically, right? What are we doing for the top pos this time? Okay, we're going 90 plus 20, 110, 115. Is that right? Is that what we're doing here? Yeah, 20, so yeah, 115. Yeah, because pathfinding doesn't really work well for like big mobs, right? I think it's just not designed for that. Actually, does the Ender Dragon use like a custom pathfinder, I assume? It probably does, right? Yeah, it looks like it is some kind of pathfinding thing here. No, that's not pathfinding. Oh, what the fuck? Oh my god. Ew. That's disgusting. Why would they do that? What the fuck? Bro, Console Edition must be coded better than that, because Console Edition Ender Dragon works in the overworld. So does Bedrock, actually. So does, Xbox One Edition, too. So, Java Edition, jank. But yeah, I mean, I guess it works for the end, and that's all that's intended, but you would think they would fix that, right? What are you working on right now? It is in the title, and is it in the it's in the description. What am I doing? No, that's not right. But specifically, I'm working on a menu to add an alarm to the thing, to the clock. And now we have to suffer pain. I hope you guys like pain. Not max pain, just pain. Not bread pain, just pain. We have to create a widget for a date selector. And actually this will be a date time selector. So it's going to be even more pain. I hope you guys are ready for this. I'm not ready for this. Because this is gonna... This might be the end of me. So what we'll extend is... It's a good job he doesn't watch this stream, heads. Although he wouldn't deny it, so maybe it's not that important that he doesn't watch this stream. Okay, let's do defaults and then P narration and output. Okay, so What are those things called? What do you think? What are the things called when you have like the barrel like spinning things? You know. I don't even know what they're called. UI barrel scroller? I'm not gonna find what I'm looking for. UI. Wait, I can probably just find an example of what I mean. Okay, yeah, I can find an example. Let's open Blockbench. Right, so when you select like a... Never mind, Blockbench doesn't do that anymore. Yeah, I guess actually it is like this. So like where you have the horizontal thing here, that instead like vertical is what I'm aiming for. What the fuck? When were these markers added? I don't like that. Why are they billboards too? I don't like that. I don't like that Blockbench. Can I disable those? Anyways, that's not relevant. It's not relevant. Just stop getting distracted just because I don't want to do this. God, how are we going to do this? Okay, here's the thing, right? I'm actually going to have to create widgets inside of this widget. So this can't be a widget by that logic, right? Instead, this is like a class that holds some widgets. So what I'll hold is I need a name for that thing. I need to know what to call it in the code. Does anyone know what it's called? UI. I'm sure it was called like a barrel something, but maybe I've just completely made that up. Wait. Okay. Apparently it's just called a numeric input with drag. What a great name, right? I'm sure we can come up with something more creative than that. Let's come up with draggable number input. Although to be fair, I don't actually want it to be draggable because that's too hard to implement. So I'm going to stick with what I had before. Arrow number input. I'll know what it means. No one else will know what it means. It's good. Okay, this first one will be the... Actually, the first one will not be a barrel number input. It will be a drop down. So I'm going to want a private final. What do I call this one? Drop down edit box. This will be for the year. Well, no, actually the year will be a barrel thing. Year input. Can't you just set the position of the widget to the mouse if selected? I think you're misunderstanding what I'm trying to do. Let's see if I can find an example. Ah, yeah, this is a good example. So, okay. You see this here? Where you got like the number and then you got the arrows on the top and the bottom? That's basically what I'm trying to make. And then the rest of it will be along like these lines up here. So you have widgets like this. You have the day, the month. I assume this is the year in this case, and then you got time. But yeah, something like this is what I want to. I don't think it'll be too hard actually. What makes it tricky is having it be editable, right? So that I could like retype it. These ones might be a little bit trickier. So, okay, the year. Yeah. Input, sure, that'll do for the year. Okay, God, I should move these back into place so I can see them. No, I won't use buttons. Who needs buttons? Okay, so we'll start with the year. And then we'll go for the month. So the month will be just a drop down. So drop down month input. Then we'll go for the day, which will also be a drop down. Day input. Then we'll go with the time. So we'll go private final. Now for the time, we're going to have hour, and we're going to have minutes. And I guess we could do seconds too. So what we'll do is we'll have a barrel number input. Which will be the hour input. And we'll go barrel number input, which will be the minute input, and then we'll go once again same thing for the second. In fact, I'll just inline these. In theory I could obviously do millisecond and like whatever too, but like why? Okay, so we're going to want a date time selector. Now, what are we passing in? We're passing in the X and the Y position. So we'll go int X pos, int Y pos. None of these classes exist. I do not get it. That's correct. They do not exist. And you know why? Because we're going to make them. That's why they don't exist. Y pos is equal Y pos. Also, by the way, if you guys have like a really delayed chat, you can click the little grey button, little grey like live button that's next to the volume slider, and that'll just skip you ahead to like most recent. Because I know YouTube very quickly you can fall behind and you don't even realise it. It just like falls you behind. I don't really know how that works. I guess if you're receiving less frames than I'm sending or something. But just so you guys know, that's a thing that happens. So we'll go list of maybe just GUI event listener. No, we'll go renderable. Get widgets. Return list of. We'll do this.year input. We'll do this.month input. Do this.day input. This.hour input. This.minutes input. This.second input. Okay. So we've got all those. Now let's start by making the barrel number input. So what we'll do is we'll go new class barrel number input. We're going to extend, I believe abstract widget is what we're going to want. Let's override those methods, add the constructor, get rid of the component, just give it an empty component. Okay, here's where things get complicated. So we're going to want a range, right? So we're going to want a private int min max start. Now by default we'll set the min to 0, or we'll set the min to -10. We'll set the max to 10, and we'll just set the start to 0. Actually we'll go with 100. Fuck it. Doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, then we'll do, and should we make these final? No, we won't make them final. We don't need to do that. We will. Let's think about this. What else do we need to say? I think I'll do for now, actually. Might want to add more to that later. So we're going to have two buttons, effectively. One at the top, one at the bottom. But those will only be visible if we are, less than or greater than those values. So first of all, let's render. It might actually be easier if we extend edit box. Resolve super int mutable components. Because we need a font. There we go. Okay, that actually does save us quite a bit. So we've got our render widget here, and render there. So after we render, we're going to say if this dot start, or this dot say current instead of start. If this dot current is equal to max, no, if it's not equal to max, then we'll do a to do and we'll just say render top. Render top button. If this dot current is not equal to min, then render bottom button. Okay. Now I believe there is a change listener we can add in here. Listen or something. One second, I'm just going to turn this down because this is annoying me. Okay. Pretty sure there's a way we can add a listener. Let's see. Mouse click, mouse released. Let's keep going. Set formatter. Set responder. There we go. Okay, and we'll just make a method that handles that. So private void handle change string text, and we'll just say this colon handle change. Okay, we're gonna say if, honestly Copilot might help me out a little bit here, if the text is empty then we set it to 0. Sure. And what we're going to do in the else statement is we're going to say this dot if this dot current is greater than this dot max, then we do that. So we can basically clamp it, right? So this dot current is equal dot clamp that, and that's only if that works. So we'll catch a number format exception, and we'll say text dot replace, and what we want to do is we want to replace any number, right? So we'll do, no, we want to replace any not number. How do you do not? I completely forgot. Reject not. Alright, so we can do this. Does that work? Basically just remove them, right? Now what we want to do is this dot text, this dot value, set value, there you go. There we go. Now, what I should make sure we do is check that this is changed somehow. Let's do try if this dot value, so if get value equals if text equals string dot value of this dot current, then we just return, and that doesn't need to be a try catch, meaning this won't, you know, keep getting recursively called every single time. It has to do the same here though. Set value, and actually in this case I'll just put 0 because that's easier. Okay, so that should be the change handled. No, those are fine for now. Okay, for now I'll just render like an up and a V for now, but we can change those to an actual texture later on if necessary. So we just draw string. Do we have this dot font? Do we have this dot Minecraft? Do we have this dot client? No, of course we don't. Actually, yeah, plus or minus will work. Fine. Get y plus 1. Get x. Okay. We actually want, what, negative? Like 5, right? Let's get width 5 by 2. Okay. When are we getting a mod description info and docs is you? Soon. Soon. Very soon. Don't worry. Okay, should we try this? Let's actually do 40, 40, 40 instead of white. And if we're lucky, it might work. Oh, there is obviously the caveat that we still are going to have errors with drop downs. Ah, damn it. Okay. Width and height. Yeah, we'll say 20 for that. That's the I wish you could have widgets inside of widgets. right? I think that would be super cool. That would be a lot easier for this kind of thing. Because the problem here is that this is the actual height of like the widget, right? So not 40 because that's kind of cringe. 20 maybe. This is the height. This is going to be the height of basically the edit box, meaning that I can't just put these arrows or these plus and minus above or below it, because then that would be outside of the widget, which obviously you're not meant to do. Probably make a parent widget system. Well, when I create my own UI library, that is definitely something I'll be doing. Just it's a bit of a pain right now to do something like that, obviously. Let's just do here where we set them in. And let's do that here as well. And just so that like we can do them both at once, set min max. Yeah, I was developing something like that already too. I called it tabula rasa, which means what, blank slate, if I remember correctly, in Latin. Let me load it up. And I've basically been abstracting like everything, right? So I can do it all in a very abstract fashion. I haven't got very far, by the way. I've only like just started it. So it's, you know, this is literally all I have thus far. It loads, take a while to load, I suppose, because it's got to go through everything and whatnot. There we go. So I'm just going to do the basic stuff first, so you can like create a builder for a screen and then add to that and all that stuff. But that's, yeah, this stuff alone is probably going to take a while to abstract this all out how I want it. But anyways, I think that's probably actually enough for this stream, isn't it? How long have we been going? 2.5 hours. Yeah, I think that's enough. Between this stream and the next, I'll probably see if I can try and like. Let me open it back up real quick. I'll probably see if I can try and get some of this done, right? So I can actually have a barrel number input and a date time selector, and hopefully drop downs too. Depends on when I next stream, of course. Probably sometime next week. It won't be this weekend. I'll just see if I can try and get some of this basic like UI stuff done, since I know this is obviously quite boring to watch. This kind of stuff, it's not that fun, so I'll try and see what I can do with that, get it done, and yeah, I'll see everyone then. Obviously I have a video coming out tomorrow on GUIs, so that'll be all well and good, but yeah, I'll see everyone then. Goodbye.